I'm going to be super transparent with you guys in my basement situation right now. This area is my new craft room, and you can see I'm not done yet. I've got paper and stacks of paper that still need to be put away, but I'm going to explain why there's still that stuff. So here is where I am going to be filming new. You can see on the table that I already have some stuff laid out for the next video. And before, we talked about what the plan was, and some things had to change, and that's just the way life goes, right? I've pretty much got all of my bookcases up and ready to go. The last thing that I need to do is fill my cubes. Now, one thing that definitely drastically needed to change was these cubes. This used to be my tower of paper. I had them stacked vertically instead of horizontally. Well, that needed to change because the ceiling height here is a lot shorter than it was upstairs in my old room. So I had to pivot. And it's kind of a massive pivot because now there's no longer room between the bookshelf here and these cube units. I have to be able to move these cube units in order to get to any of this stuff here. And that's okay. Because on Home Depot website, I was able to find casters that hold 1,000 pounds. Now, we all know that paper is heavy, so we have to be aware that this tower is going to be heavy. And it's not done. So I'm going to give you a close-up on these casters because I think they're pretty neat. So they have an on and off button that is super easy to on and off it with my foot, not with my finger, but you can see on and then off. And I put them in the front so I can easily access them. And then I'm able to move the whole tower out of the way to get to where I need to be. Now, a couple things with that. I need to be able to have this also attached to the wall so it doesn't fall. And I need a backer on it so things don't fall through to the back when I move it. I don't plan on moving it very often. I've purposely situated my room so that the stuff behind it is not widely used. So unfinished projects, card kits, Christmas, fall, Halloween, other collections that I don't get to very often, and then my sewing is on the bottom there. So my plan is not to pull out my sewing machine very often. I didn't in my other room either, and that's fine. So, but when I do need to do it, I'm able to move this now. That was a big panic moment because I didn't know what to do. My friend was like, well, you can put it on casters. I was like, okay, perfect. So then let's go to the next one. I have purposely arranged my room so that the most frequently used items are going to be right behind me where I stand, and the less frequently are further away from me. And that's a good tip when you're organizing anything, right? Is to have what you want to use frequently next to you, what you don't want to use frequently further away. So from the top down, I've got gifts and cardboard sheets. I've got my fall ephemera and another project. I'm going to call this area kind of my project area. I've got completed cards, uncompleted cards, traveler's notebooks, happy planner stuff. Below that, I've got a button maker and my alphas. And then below that, I have my bookmaking supplies. So my Zutter, which is similar to the cinch, my thermal cinch, and then other bookmaking supplies, as well as my laminator. In that gold area that's kind of empty, that's where my vinyl is going to stick out, which will be fine because it's not really in a walkway. I'm going to have this chair or another chair, I haven't decided yet, kind of in this corner. So I know the two cubes behind it and whatever's behind here, right here, is not going to be accessible all the time, and that's fine. Next to it is my printer, and I like that setup. My original thought was to put it on my desk over here on the left, but I quickly ran out of room. This desk that I have here is from Amazon, and it is a one where it'll go up and down with a push of a button. The tower below it was to the left of my desk. Now it's under my desk, and it's the perfect height where it doesn't mess with if the desk is lowered. But back to the bookshelves. This is just like printing materials, like paper and ink, and then washi and other ephemera bits like buttons, brads, and lace. And then below that is my chipboard and wood and flowers. That's kind of like my embellishment area. I've got project materials in the bucket here. So things like my gel plate and that kind of thing go in there. And then I've got embossing folders and punches in the top. I've mixed my stamps and dies together, and you can see my stamping tool right next to it. These containers were originally in, I'm gonna make you sick a little bit, this case. Well, I could only fit one case, but I can fit 3 of those containers when I took the case out. Not sure what I'm gonna do with the outer case yet, but I have it and it fits 12 by 12 paper, so that's really nice. Below that, you can see I kept my ribbon and my mixed media supplies in the case and then put a turntable above it. I needed it so I could put the turntable in and then more dots to the left. So this is kind of like my cutting station because my Big Shot is below my desk here. Now these cubes are like 13 by 13, so it definitely fits paper. So I've got all of my 12 by 12 cardstock shop paper there because I need to have it separate from my regular paper. My heat gun, my trimmers are under there, and that was one thing I really wanted to focus on, was a place to easily access my trimmers and my tools. And so having a gap between the cubes and my desk was something that I really wanted to focus on. And then I filled, you can see my drawers with what's labeled there. These 2 bags are my crop kit. They're not gonna live there. I'm thinking about building a shelf above my sump pump here so that I can just place them on that. And I think there's enough room for them to be side by side. But honestly, I want to get down to 1 bag that's always loaded for crops. And then the other bag is just my materials that I need for the cropping, like the layouts that I'm going to do. I had originally bought like 12 of those cubes. Only 4 fit in my space, and I'm okay with that. I like the way that it's set up now. I'm not going to change it. Well, for this foreseeable future, I'm not going to change it. Above is going to be kind of a working desk on the right. So you can see I've just kind of piled things that need to be put away and figured out. But I've got my container from Some Assemblage Acquired. I did a video review on that. And I've switched the purpose from housing things while I'm scrapbooking to actually like a tool caddy. And that was something I was really concerned about. I didn't know where I was going to put my tools that were previously on my board on the wall. And so I repurposed this to be a tool caddy. It's not perfect. I don't love it. But for now, I'm going to leave it. And you can see all of my other tools here that are readily accessible. And then I kind of switched up how I'm going to use my shelves here. That bottom shelf is pretty much the same as how it was upstairs. I've got my binders that you can see, and then my stamp and dies that are specific to like backgrounds, letters, and then cards. And then above it, I've got my blank albums on the right, and then dies, and then my current projects on the left. So I can easily access these. Previously, they were in the cube unit behind me. So that's freed up some space for cubes and able to expand a little bit. And then I've got my 6x6 papers up there, and a cute little decoration. I wanted to be able to decorate just a little bit. It's not a ton. I've got a spot here. I'm probably going to hang my goals or my display. And then I've got room kind of above to display some art if I wanted to. That spot's probably going to get covered. Like you can see, I already put my Christmas bin. It's not actually away. It's supposed to be right there, but I got lazy. So this area right here up top, I might just leave blank. So it's kind of my lazy area, you know, where I'm not sure where things are going to go, or I don't want to put them away, or just went on a shopping trip and they're just going to kind of sit up there. That might be my plan so that my floor is clear. Because the one thing that I was nervous about when moving my scrap room is that I don't have a good walking area. And so my dump space is definitely limited. So this might be my dump space. And, you know, we all have it. You have to plan for it so that it's not debilitating like in my previous space. So that is my new scrap room. I've sold a lot I probably will sell more. I made about $300, which does not cover the cost of moving stuff down here because I needed to get a new desk. I purchased those cubes. I purchased the door. That's what this brown is actually a door. So it's super light. When people come and want a service, they can either go under here or I can actually lift this desktop off and they have full access. Things that I had to worry about are that right there, which you can't see it unless you're actually bending down, so I'm not worried. And then I needed to figure out like how I was going to access plugins, that kind of thing. So, took a month to get to this point, probably a little bit over a month, but I'm happy where I am. I have yet to spend hours down here to scrapbook. Just with the holidays and everything, it's hard. So give you one more span. Eventually my goal is to have a curtain in front of everything so that I can block it off for company. But honestly, it's not that messy right now except for outside of it. So we'll see how that goes. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.